Hello guys, welcome back to the channel, and today I'm going to be going over my NFL mock draft 2022. This is my second mock draft, and I expect there to be quite a few more, as this is a topic I like to cover, and just the NFL in general. So, yeah, let's get into it. Number 1, I still got the Jaguars taking Charles Cross, tackle out of Mississippi State, as they need to protect their future in Trevor Lawrence. And even Travis Etienne, the running back, and James Robinson. They need to be able to throw the ball to DJ Chark, Marvin Jones, Laviska Shenault, and really just have a decent O-line, so they really don't have to focus on the offense for the rest of the draft. Number 2, I have the Lions taking Aiden Hutchinson, edge out of Michigan. Aiden Hutchinson, I think, is the best edge in the class, as I think he finished with 14 or 14.5 sacks, and really has just been a dominant pass rusher for Michigan. And I think he would bring a lot to the Lions, as they're in need of a pass rusher, as it's not like, what's his name? I'm trying to think of his name. I think it's Romeo Okwara is really getting anything done there, and I just think Hutchinson would add a lot to that very young defensive line in Detroit, and he's a hometown guy, and I think it's between him and Thibodeau for the Lions to take. And I really think Dan Campbell is going to fall for the hometown guy and pick Hutchinson. Number 3, I have the Texans taking Evan Neal. He's the tackle out of Alabama, who really would be a key addition to protect their future QB in Davis Mills, as I think Davis Mills is the future QB of the Houston Texans, or whoever it actually ends up being. But Evan Neal is a great player, don't get me wrong, and I just think he's a franchise piece, and you really just need someone at this caliber, and it would be a snag at the number 3 overall spot. And I'm very excited to see him develop as a Houston Texan, most likely. Number 4, I have the Jets taking Ikem Ekwonu, tackle out of NC State. He's a tackle prospect that really would just help the Jets O-line, as they're very young. This would add to this would make a trio of very young guys, all drafted in the first round 3 consecutive years, of Ikem Ekwonu, Elijah Vera-Tucker, and Mekhi Becton, as Mekhi Becton is very good in the pass game as a pass protector, so is Ikem Ekwonu, and Elijah Vera-Tucker is very good in the run protection. So I'm very excited to see Ikem Ekwonu hopefully become a Jet, as he has flexibility to also play guard if needed, if they would sign a guy like Teron Armstead, and then they would have a very good line for years to come. Number 5, sort of a surprise pick here. I got the Giants taking Jordan Davis, defensive tackle, Georgia. Jordan Davis is more of a run stuffer, but can be a very good pass rusher. And he is just a great player all around, and I know the Giants need an edge, but I think they could adjust that later in the draft and just get a younger guy in the middle, as then they don't really have to pay Dexter Lawrence as much money as you'd think. Well, they can pay him and move Leonard Williams permanently to the outside, or just have Jordan Davis be a 3-tech. But Jordan Davis, either way, I think is the best player available in this spot, and I think it's just a great pick by the Giants here. Number 6, I have the Panthers taking Malik Willis, quarterback, Liberty. He is a great QB, very developable. You'd think that he'd kind of be considered just a project more than a prospect, but he provides both. He has a nice ability to just let it rip on that pass, but also just plays extremely well for a QB. And I think he's the best QB in this draft by far. Some people say it's Pickett. I just really don't think he has too much potential, as he can't really deal with pressure, but Malik Willis can deal with pressure. And I'd say he's like a Lamar Jackson, to be honest, but a Lamar Jackson that can throw, so maybe a player comparison would be a Russell Wilson type player. Number 7, the Giants. Again, I have them taking an edge this time, so they really improved their D-line here in the first round. Jermaine Johnson, he's an edge out of Florida State. So he's coming out of a pretty big school, but I think he would still be successful as a New York Giant. And I think this just solves the Giants' D-line issues, as they had, I think it was the 10th worst sack percentage in the league, or even pressures. So bringing in Jermaine Johnson and Jordan Davis would really help them, and then they really don't even have to address D-line for another couple of years. As soon as Leonard Williams' contract is up, which is in 3 years, they can draft another guy, but then they still have a very young core in Jermaine Johnson and Jordan Davis. Number 8, the Falcons taking Travon Walker, an edge out of Georgia. He's fast. I don't really know what else to say. I mean, he's just a very fast guy that has possible DT vibes if he would play that position very well, but that would be a question. But the real thing is, him coming off the edge is a huge need for the Falcons, as they just need a pure edge rusher, and Grady Jarrett can't be the only guy getting work done there in Atlanta. I just think Travon Walker is a good pick. Number 9, the Broncos giving Kayvon Thibodeaux, edge out of Oregon. What is there much to say? He could be the best edge rusher in this class. I just think the other guys have better scheme fits, if that makes sense. And I think Kayvon Thibodeaux is going to slide to the Broncos. At number 9, obviously some people are going to disagree with me, but I don't think he's the most complete prospect. I think he is probably the most just set in stone guy that will at least be decent in this league, but I think all the other guys have a lot higher potential than Thibodeaux does. As I mean, Thibodeaux, I think I could see him becoming a Von Miller for a couple of years, but he's the best pass rusher for like 2 years. But I think Jermaine Johnson is going to be a guy like, let's just take another edge rusher, for example, TJ Watt. And I think Jordan Davis is going to be like the next AD. So, and McDonald, but Kayvon Thibodeaux, I think, is a very set-in-stone good player now, but down the line, I think he'll sort of stay the same, and not really have the most developable career. Number 10, got the Jets taking David Ojabo, edge out of Michigan, another edge here, 4 or 3 straight edges, one of the 2, but he is a very good edge prospect, and his run of edges continues, but if he would play on the Jets, that would complete their D-line, as they now have Carl Lawson also coming off the edge, coming back after having some sort of issue causing him to miss the entire season. They also got John Franklin Myers, they got Quinnen Williams, and Alonzo Fatukasi. So, yeah. And I think he would just add to that really young D-line. Number 11, I have the Commanders taking Kyle Hamilton, safety out of Notre Dame. He's a very good safety. He can play all around the field. And is just a great pick for the Commanders, as they're just trying to build up that defense as much as possible, as they really haven't been the most successful defense in recent memory. So I just think he could even play linebacker if needed. Number 12, I have the Vikings taking Ahmad Gardner. He's a corner out of Cincinnati. Out of 1,100 snaps at Cincinnati, he allowed 0 touchdowns and was just a great player for the Bearcats. And I really think he would be able to continue that with the Minnesota Vikings. Number 13, the Browns taking Treylon Burks, wide receiver, Arkansas. I kind of didn't really like him after watching some tape on him, but then I realized he is probably the most complete receiver in the class, and just has that big body to go up and get the ball. And I really think he would be a great player for the Browns. Number 14, Ravens, Derek Stingley, corner, LSU. He's a very good corner. A lot of people have him going before Ahmad Gardner, but I think Ahmad Gardner is a better prospect. As Stingley decided to sit out this year, I think, because of COVID, but either way, he's still going to go in the top 16, top half of the draft, and really excited to see him be a Baltimore Raven and really complete that secondary. Number 15, the Eagles taking Kenyon Green, inside offensive lineman, Texas A&M. Not really much to say besides the fact that him and Tyler Linderbaum are kind of the best inside offensive linemen. And number 16, I got the Eagles taking Tyler Linderbaum, inside offensive lineman out of Iowa. Him and Kenyon Green would really pair a nice center guard duo, as the Eagles are probably trying to repair their O-line for the future, as they got a lot of old guys there in Lane Johnson, Brandon Brooks, and Jason Kelsey. So I really think they're going to need to get a new line there. Number 17, the Chargers, Trevor Penning, tackle, Northern Iowa. With Trevor Penning and Rashawn Slater, that'd be a great tackle duo to come for the next generation at this point of NFL players. And that is a great duo that would be possible if the Chargers would make this pick, as Northern Iowa is a smaller school, but I just still think Trevor Penning has the best potential out of the tackles in this class. Number 18, the Saints, Matt Corral, QB, Ole Miss. He is a decent QB. He used to be in the Heisman runner-up, as he was at the end of the season, but he lost it to Bryce Young, the quarterback out of Alabama. But Matt Corral, I think, is either better than Malik Willis, but Malik Willis can't really be as good right now because Malik Willis needs to develop. But Matt Corral is a better QB now compared to Malik Willis, as Malik Willis is more of a project. So I think Matt Corral is going to slip in the draft at 18. Number 19, I have the Eagles taking Jaquan Brisker, safety, Penn State. He's been injured for most of this season, and just his career with Penn State, but he was very good when he ended up playing. And I think the Eagles are going to recognize that, as Anthony Harris is not really someone you really want to keep, as he gave up a lot of big plays. So Jaquan Brisker would be a very good replacement for him. Number 20, Steelers, Desmond Ridder. He's a QB out of Cincinnati. He really is just my favorite quarterback in the class, and I think he'd be able to get the job done with Pittsburgh, as he's very accurate, mobile, able to get out of the pocket, which is what he really needs, as the Steelers' offensive line isn't that good. Number 21, the Patriots, Andrew Booth. He's a corner out of Clemson. He has the highest potential out of any corner in the class, as he is an elite shutdown option at the slot position. And I really think that's the only position that the Patriots corner room really needs. And I think Andrew Booth would be able to learn a lot from a guy like Jonathan Jones and maybe even Devin McCourty before Devin McCourty would retire. Number 22, the Raiders taking Kenny Pickett, QB, Pittsburgh. He was sort of the highlight QB everyone sort of wanted, and I really think the Raiders are going to get him, as I think Derek Carr will eventually leave or even retire, and then Kenny Pickett can fill in the shoes. Maybe Derek Carr plays for 2 seasons and Pickett grooms for 2 seasons and then gets in and plays 3 years on his rookie deal, which really is a good move for the Raiders, as he'll get a lot of developing behind Carr. Number 23, Cardinals, Daxton Hill, safety, Michigan. He's just a great prospect. He was able to, get around and just make shifty moves every once in a while and pick off the QBs. And I really think he'd be able to do that even in the NFL. As the Cardinals, with Buddha, Simmons, Daxton Hill, I think that would make the most versatile group of safeties in the league. As I say, Simmons kind of plays safety and linebacker, and I think Daxton Hill could play that same role, but be more successful. And with this, that would make 3 consecutive years, at least, that the Cardinals have went with their first-round pick being a defensive player. Number 24, the Cowboys, Cameron Thomas. He's an edge out of San Diego State. The only drawback is that he played at a small school in college, but I still think he'd be a great player for the Cowboys. Coming off the edges, Randy Gregory's probably going to leave, and maybe even DeMarcus Lawrence will too. So, really excited to see him get in the NFL and hopefully play well. Number 25, Bills, Zion Johnson, inside offensive lineman, Boston College. Zion Johnson is a great guard and has potential to be a stud offensive lineman for the Bills. And he's very good in pass protection and run protection. Mainly in run protection, as they kind of need to get a new running back, because the Bills have drafted 3 consecutive 5'9" running backs, which is not a recipe for success. As kind of need a bigger guy now. Number 26, the Titans, taking Nakobe Dean, linebacker, Georgia. He is a great player. He's very good in coverage and run stuffing as a linebacker, and I'd be very excited to see him play for the Titans, as the Titans would have a very complete linebacker group now with him and Jayon Brown and Rashaan Evans. Number 27, the Bucks. I have them taking Carson Strong, a QB out of Nevada. I think Carson Strong, like Malik Willis, has a lot of potential and has a big arm, ability to escape the pocket, so I think his player comparison would be from someone in the league that is Josh Allen, as Josh Allen also came out of a smaller school, and really think that these two could pan out to be pretty much the exact same in historical statistics. Number 28, the Packers, taking George Karlaftis. He's an edge out of Purdue. Either the Packers take an edge here, or they trade out of the pick and just try and get more down the road in the draft. But I think Karlaftis is a very good edge prospect, and I think they're going to cut Zadarius Smith and Preston Smith, or they trade both of them. And I really just think they're going to need to replace him, so Karlaftis, I think, is the answer. Number 29, Dolphins, Jameson Williams, wide receiver, Alabama. He's a great prospect, very fast. I'd compare him to Jalen Waddle, and it's just a year later coming out of this draft, and they're getting him a lot later because he's tore his ACL. And otherwise, I think he could go top 10 in this draft, or even top 5. But with that ACL, you never really know how a player is going to end up playing after that. So I think it's sort of a reach here for the Dolphins to get him, but he's still a great player, so not too worried. Number 30, the Chiefs, taking Drake London, wide receiver, USC. He's a great player, jump ball capability, fast, good route running. The only problem is he doesn't get open as much as other receivers in this class, so that's a drawback, but the Chiefs need a jump ball receiver, so I think Drake London is a perfect fit for them. Number 31, Bengals, Daniel Faalele, offensive tackle, Minnesota. He's 6'8" or 9", don't really remember the inch per se, and he's 380 pounds. He'd just be an anchor as a tackle for the Bengals, and I really think the Bengals need line, and really it just comes down to the fact that Daniel Faalele is either going to be an anchor or he's going to be a bust. It's either one of the two, because he could be a bust because he's not the fastest, or Daniel Faalele could just be an anchor for his entire career and be the best lineman in recent history. Number 32, last pick in the first round, Lions taking Sam Howell, quarterback, North Carolina, as he is a very good QB, and I think could be a reach here at 32, but also he is very accurate, has a nice deep pass, has some zip to his pass, which needs speed, and really think Detroit's looking for that in a QB now, as really just don't think Jared Goff is the answer there. So yeah, that's up the 2022 mock draft. Hopefully see you guys next time. Bye.